Coming up next on the Breadwinning Mums.
After giving birth to Zinzi, I thought maternity leave, you shut off. So you don't answer emails, you don't answer phone calls and things like that. Perhaps it was a little bit silly of me to try and feel like I could help or assist. But what happened was I found in the first 3 months, and particularly by the third month, I was stressed to my eyeballs. I had no balance and I kind of just cracked. My focus should have been 100% on Zinzi and learning to be a mother and, sleeping when I needed to sleep. Instead, I was kind of trying to do it all. And I think women perhaps are somewhat pushed or feel that they can always do it all. And it's not until they do it all and crack that they realise, hang on a second, what in fact is a priority in my life now.
Welcome to the show. I'm Jane Lim. On the Breadwinning Mums podcast, we debunk the myths of working mums, cheer each other on, and show the world that it's okay to be a mum and still pursue excellence in your chosen area of expertise. Today we're chatting with Giverny Reid, a fellow breadwinning mum with a 6-month-old baby girl, Zinzi. Jiv is the Creative Marketing Director of Crown Group. She shared with us her life story about building her career in the creative industry, meeting her longtime partner Lee online before it became popular, getting engaged before COVID, and navigating wedding planning through and post the pandemic. Here we go with Giverny Reid. Hello, Giverny. How are you?
Hi, good. Thanks for having me.
No, thank you so much for being here. I know that you are juggling early motherhood. So, thank you for making the time.
No, thank you. It's a pleasure.
So, I guess let's start with you first. Can you tell us a little bit more about yourself, please?
So my name is Giverny and I'm born and bred in Australia. I have my partner of 10 years and I just recently had a baby girl, our daughter Zinzi, in March, which was, we didn't know the gender. So a big surprise to have a girl, very convinced it was a boy. I've been in the creative industry, 15 odd years now, but quite a significant time as the head of creative and marketing for property developer Crown Group. And Crown Group is a luxury property developer in the residential space, but we also have hotels, retail and other kind of divisions. So it's been a fantastic opportunity, fantastic nearly 10 years working with that business.
Okay. Are you able to let us know about how you met your partner? So it's been 10 years married or 10 years together?
We're COVID marriage. So long story short, we got engaged in 2017. So what's that?
Oh, wow.
5 odd years.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
we finally got engaged when several of our other close friends got engaged within 4 days. And we all got engaged what seems like we were in overseas and whatnot. It was a fantastic time. But we were in no rush. So we said, everyone else, you guys get married first. We'll just wait. Just wait.
Yeah.
And so when it came to our chance to get married, we planned a wedding in Bali in 2020. A month before COVID hit.
Yeah.
So
oh, no.
I was crying my eyes out, going, no, we can get there. And it wasn't until they finally called it and said, you can physically not get on a flight, that we decided that we had to postpone it. So we postponed it since 2020. We're up to our 4th wedding date change. And
oh, no.
We'll get there.
Okay. All right.
But after all that, my partner's a bit older, and we decided to try for a baby. And I'm glad we did start trying for a baby, because they don't teach you in school that having a baby doesn't happen overnight. So, and then Zinzi was born, and she'll be 1 year old by the time we get married, which is fantastic.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
But in answering your question, we actually met on an app. So we're the app romance of the world. Yeah.
Which one?
So it wasn't well known back then to meet people online in the way that we do now. And it was called Scout. And it was basically an app that's similar to the Tinders and the Hinges of the world, where it was based on location. Yeah. So we met on an app, and funnily enough, I have 2 other siblings, younger siblings, and we've all met our partners and fiancés on apps. So I'm a big app promoter.
Yeah. Okay, great. So how many dates did you go on from the app until you found your partner?
First date, absolutely horrible. No connection, nothing there. He would probably say that I talked about myself, whereas I thought he was very boring, so I had to talk about myself.
Talk about yourself,
in order to generate conversation. But it nothing hit off at all.
Wow.
It wasn't until the second date, which to this day I don't know how it actually eventuated, because it was a horrible first date. And several bottles of wine later, that was hey, we've got something here. But like I mentioned, Lee, my partner, is a little bit older, and I don't know how, but after that second date, I was hooked. I was so obsessed with this guy, and he didn't want a bar of me. So I was in the picture for a good 9 to 12 months before we actually formally got together. And,
Oh, wow. Okay. That's interesting. So what's the age difference between you and Lee?
Just 6 years.
6 years. Okay.
Yeah.
What does he do?
Lee's a mortgage broker. So he's he was a financial planner by trade, and then he's just basically started up the brokering arm of the business that he was working for, and absolutely loves it. So unfortunately we're those people that just live and breathe property, working with a property developer and then a mortgage broker. But it's fantastic, and he's very savvy. So I'm very lucky to have, I guess, the experiences and the tips from his clients that we can then I guess adopt in
implement.
Our life.
Sure. And a good combination of like the rational side and the creative side as well.
Oh, they say opposites attract, right? And we are dead set opposites in that way.
Yeah, that's awesome. Okay. And how long was it until you decided that you wanted to try for a baby? So you mentioned that you got engaged in 2017, and then the wedding was supposed to be in 2020, and then it got postponed. Was it not long after COVID that you decided, let's just have a go anyway?
Yeah, look, coming from quite I guess a big family, in the sense that I've got 2 siblings, but my mum is one of 7. And I guess that whole concept of family is very instilled in my own family. So I always wanted to have children. Lee, not so much at the time. However, I think, again, it just comes with not necessarily maturity, but age. And he was obviously one of the older kind of guys in his group to have children. A lot of them had already had kids. And again, coming from the Central Coast, he like, it's a bit of a stereotype, but I guess a lot of
start family quite young.
So definitely it was on the cards. Then it clicked for him that he wanted to have children, and so obviously that kind of conversation eventuated. But COVID lockdown, I don't personally, and I'm sure a lot of people can relate, the first lockdown was so unknown. jobs were up in the air, what was going to happen, the whole world shut down. We didn't know any different. So we weren't thinking about babies at that point. I was thinking about when's my wedding happening.
Yeah.
And then obviously we got out of lockdown and it was just still chaos, and it was so unsure as to where things really were. And it was the second lockdown, we started talking more or less the second time we had to change the wedding date. That was definitely like, all right, let's start to think about it. And we started trying, but it wasn't until a year later that Zinzi actually finally kind of happened at that point.
Okay, so what happened during that year? Did you try naturally? Did you go through the IVF?
Yeah, so we tried naturally, and so fortunate to have conceived her naturally. But I think during that time, work was pretty stressful. Again, COVID kind of caused a lot of disruption, not only for our company, but the internal teams within that. People were burnt out. People were so mentally drained that it was, they needed change, or they needed to kind of take a break from work. So I was down pretty much an entire team at that point, and trying to kind of cover a lot of those roles during that time, which burnt me out. So trying for a baby when you're stressed is just,
it doesn't happen. Yeah.
It's unrealistic. And again, it's something that I think, I wish I was more aware of when I went into that, because fueled with stress from work and then not falling pregnant, but then obviously everything around you screams pregnancy. Friends are getting pregnant, or bloody Facebook ads are serving you information on it. Like, it's emotionally draining. And I think that just catapulted a further kind of delay in us getting pregnant. Because it was all you could think about and consume, and it just didn't work. It wasn't until I think we had an open conversation around IVF and the options that were on offer, that you kind of just relaxed, and doing tests and things like that to ensure that no one's having difficulties and all the rest of it really just cleared our head, and we were able then to conceive naturally. I'm pretty sure it was the month that we decided to take the next steps with IVF was the month that we fell pregnant. So it was really lucky, and I know it's incredibly challenging for a lot of women out there. So we were just really lucky.
That's actually quite common. I've had a few friends who were they were actually going to do the IVF route. They went away for some holidays, like the last hurrah before the baby comes. And then it happened during the holiday. So I think, it's just when you finally just relax, let go of that control, and it just happens naturally.
100%.
How long did it take you? One whole year?
It took, nearly a whole year.
Okay.
Again, this is the more conversations we had after we got pregnant, you realize it, either many people are going through the same situation, or that it did take them that long. Again, I think you just brought up in this whole scheme of, safe sex, and if you have sex, you're going to get pregnant on the spot. And so there's that warped perception of what's going to happen. And don't get me wrong, people are very lucky in that instance. I've had a few friends where it's just like happened, but I think more open people can be about their difficulties or challenges with pregnancy, I think the better, because it really kind of nurtures other people to understand, with time, things can happen as well.
Destigmatize the whole process of not getting pregnant. There's nothing wrong with you. It doesn't take as easily or as quickly as you think it is. So how's Zinzi? How old is she? And tell us a bit more.
So Zinzi, she was born in March, and she's just turned 5 months, and she is what we call an absolute chunk. She came out over 4 kilos.
Oh, wow.
Big baby. But
painful.
All I can say is I need to be a brand ambassador for epidural, because epidural unbelievable, just life changing. Yeah, I had a natural birth, so props to anyone that does a drug free or can't have
Yeah.
drugs during their birth, because
Yeah. Yeah.
wow, 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 wow,
Yeah.
wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
How
no.
long was the labor?
So I went in on a Friday night, and she was born on Saturday at 7 o'clock. Again,
PM
when
or
people ask me
morning?
how long the labor was, it felt very quick.
Yeah.
But I was obviously under epidural as well. But I think all up, the pushing part probably an hour or two, and she got stuck. So yeah,
Oh
there were
no.
a few complications around getting her out.
Yeah.
But she came, and she was chunky, and actually in the lead up, because she was measuring so big, and I really wanted to have a natural birth. They didn't induce me, but basically try to bring on the labor early. So she was early and over 4 kilos. So God knows how
Wow.
much she would have been if I
Yeah.
went to my due date. Jeez.
Yeah. How
Yeah.
early was she? How
She
many
was
weeks?
30, she was 39 weeks.
Okay. All right. Just, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. And when did you get the epidural? As soon as you were admitted?
No, I think I hung it out for a little bit, convinced like, yeah, I got to give this a
Yeah.
shot.
Yeah.
And I'm glad I did. Like
Yeah.
it is a great experience,
Yeah.
but as obviously it started getting harder and harder. It was like,
Yeah.
get it now. And
Yeah.
yeah, my partner doesn't do well with, I guess, pain and any. So he was hopeless in that regard, but he had my back the whole way. And when they told
Yep.
him the epidural couldn't be administered for another 20 minutes, and then it takes 15 minutes for it to actually work, he was
Yep.
like counting how many contractions required, and so
Yeah, I was the same as well. I was one of those like, I'm gonna do it naturally without anything. And then the first one had to be induced because
yeah,
he was like 42 weeks, so he has to come
wow,
out.
yeah,
And then when they said no, we have to induce you now, it's gone on for far too long. I thought, okay, all right, just give me the
yeah,
epidural.
yeah,
But the second one, I hung it out until very, very late, until
yeah,
like through the whole labor. I was trying to do it without.
yeah,
And then towards the end, I'm like, nah, that's
nah,
like, just
nah,
give
nah,
it now. Yeah. Once they injected it, they checked, and I was like fully dilated. And I'm like, oh
yeah.
man, I could have done it without.
And then you would have missed your opportunity if you did really want it. That's the other thing. It was like,
That's
don't
right.
wait too
Yeah.
long, but try
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
experience it as much as possible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah. But yeah, no judgment. Like, yeah, I think there's just too many pressure on us, even with little things like that, right? Like
Yeah.
epidural, like it's available to you. Take it if you want. But
Yeah.
if not, then there's no judgment either way.
Oh, 100%. But props
Mm,
to like the whole birthing experience. Those who do it with no pain,
mm,
amazing.
mm,
And
mm.
single mums and people, like, I know COVID would have flipped a lot of people on, having to deliver by themselves that they didn't expect, partners not being
Yes.
able to come into the delivery rooms and things
Yep.
like that. Like, I
Yep.
don't know what I would have done without, Lee and my
Mm.
midwife, who was the pillow queen. She just knew how to
Yeah.
pillows amazingly.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
yeah, so lucky. The only good thing about COVID with hospitals and birthing was the fact that I actually really liked having no visitors.
Yes, that's
let
true.
us let us be for those
Yeah.
few days, and it was
Yeah.
fantastic.
Yeah. You do need that recovery, right?
Yeah,
Mm.
absolutely.
Okay. So tell us what's the last 6 months has been?
Roller coaster. um Amazing. Obviously it's life changing, and I could sit here and say motherhood has completely changed me. It has, and it's definitely been a unique experience. Everything I thought I would do, I didn't, in terms of with maternity leave, with having a baby. I thought, instantly it would be uh, just, I guess, all about mothering. For me, having Zinzi, and whilst it was by far the best experience of my life, and she is my everything, I won't even second question that. I lost my sense of identity, and that was quite challenging. And by losing my sense of identity, I meant I'm a bit of a control freak when it comes to work.
Mm.
And I think with work in particular, you know, I feel present and I feel like I can control things and I feel like I can kind of dominate in my space. I was always very career focused and always very driven like that. And, you know, Crown Group in particular heavily relies on the aesthetic and the brand and the look and the feel. Our CEO, Yvonne Sonido, has a lot of control with that and loves being involved. Second to that is our sales director, Priska Edwards, who also really kind of influences how we are perceived by the public. So again, my role feels wanted and needed at the best in times. With a baby, it was very challenging to kind of, I don't know, have control. There is no control. You have to very much kind of work with what they need when they need it. You have no idea half the time because everything in the book basically goes out the window because your baby is unique. No baby is the same. So I guess coming out of that, it took me quite some time to really adjust. I also had a bit of a challenge where after giving birth to Zinzi, I thought maternity leave, you shut off. So you don't answer emails, you don't answer phone calls and things like that. Perhaps it was a little bit silly of me to try and feel like I could help or assist. But what happened was I found in the first 3 months, and particularly by the third month, I was stressed to my eyeballs. I had no balance and I kind of just cracked. I thought maybe to take a step back, my team when I left was fine. And then I guess after I left, there was a few issues, which then meant people resigned or left. And, you know, people who were meant to pick up certain roles within the team couldn't fulfill them and it just wasn't working and all the rest of it. So I was trying to help. But at the same time, my focus should have been 100% on Zinzi and learning to be a mother and, you know, sleeping when I needed to sleep. Instead, I was kind of trying to do it all. And I think women perhaps are somewhat pushed or feel that they can always do it all. And it's not until they do it all and crack that they realize, hang on a second, what in fact is a priority in my life now. So 3 months, they talk about postpartum depression. I personally didn't have this, but I felt I may have had a little bit of sense of, again, what I said, lost identity or depression around the fact that I didn't know what to do with everything right now. I wanted to work, but I wanted to be a mother. I wanted to switch off, and I just felt lost. Lee was an incredible kind of support to me in that respect, that, you know, try to talk through how to balance things. And we basically came to the decision where I couldn't let go of work. I have this, sorry to use the swear word, fucked up kind of control sense over things. And I needed also that adult time where I could have my own time, but sans Zinzi. So I went into the office 1 day a week. And that for me was definitely game changing. What it allowed was, firstly, I guess, limitations with work in that I was there on that set day and that was the only day. What it also made me realize is how much I miss Zinzi and how much I didn't want to miss out on any opportunity. And I would go home and be 100% devoted to it because I was so excited to be with her. Yeah. It's really important that I didn't miss out on the moments because Lee went back to work pretty much 2 weeks after she was born, running his own business. That was kind of something we agreed to do. And he was missing out on those moments. So, you know, I think I've definitely come out on the other side. Zinzi is just unbelievably amazing. And, you know, I'm not probably the best mother when it comes to knowing exactly what to do or how to do things, but I'm definitely getting by, and I'm definitely seeing improvements in myself and how I can feel fulfilled, but also balance between having a career, being a mom, but also retaining, you know, a bit of self.
Sense of self.
Yeah, exactly.
So are you still working that 1 day a week?
Yeah. So I'm like, having said that, it's been fantastic, but I've shot myself in the foot that if I do want to have maternity leave, I'm at 5 months. I'm in too deep now. So like it would be weird if I was to say, hey guys, I'm actually officially switching off now. But
Yeah.
going into the office and kind of, getting dressed and putting makeup on or and then giving Zinzi time with other people and being social and kind of adjusting to different environments is also really important for growth.
Yeah.
And I never wanted to be also, and no, absolutely no disrespect to the mums that need to go back to work straight away, but I never wanted to kind of send her to daycare 5 days a week so early on when honestly she's just rolling and she's just kind of grabbing things and so forth. So yeah, it was really important that I wasn't away too much. But it's a good balance to trying to get by. And don't get me wrong, money's great to have coming through the door so that I can keep buying the clothes that she keeps growing out of every bloody week. So yeah, it's good. I think I've found a happy medium at this point in time.
Yeah. And at 6 months, I think everything changes every other week, it seems. So you're still trying to adjust.
Yeah.
It's good to see, how relaxed you are
This
with
is my
everything that's going
relaxed
on.
mode right now because we're having a conversation. But yeah,
Because she's napping.
yeah, and she's asleep as well. But
Yeah.
no, every day is different. And honestly, I don't know how women can do everything. Like even I've been talking about when do I go back to work full time? I was so convinced, obviously, when you're pregnant, you have such a different understanding of how
Yeah.
to work. Oh
Yeah.
yeah, full time after 6 months. Absolutely. Like
Yeah. Yeah.
it's so challenging. I don't know how women can do it with 2 kids. Like, how do you honestly manage
Yeah.
everything? It's amazing. Careers, side hobbies, 2 kids. Wow. Just, I look back at my mum and I just go, 3 kids doing, she was doing a master's degree, working full time, unbelievable. It's just, yeah, incredible women
Yeah.
out there.
I think it's just a daily reiteration because everything changes all
Yeah.
the time. You just do the best you can every single day, like everyone does, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
But take us back to your young self. What was the young Jiv like?
Young Jiv, she definitely wants to be outgoing and a center of attention, but at the same time hates confrontation and still does.
Okay.
Deep down, in my role, like managing people isn't my skill set. I don't. I think I'm fueled with too much emotion at sometimes, so it can kind of blur those lines. And I hate confrontation. I hate having to tell people bad news or disappointing them. So that's always definitely been true in my younger self as well. But no, always been creative, always loved design. I've always wanted to kind of do something in the design field. I think I was obsessed with being the female version of Don Draper when I was younger. And I was like, I'm going to run an advertising agency. I'm going to be, classy and cool. Clearly didn't realize you cannot drink during the day because the hangovers are far too great. And advertising life is not like it used to be. It's definitely you're one of the mass and, there's different systems, not to mention you work for someone else. So clients have an opinion and everyone apparently is a designer when it comes to those kind of things and they have an opinion on everything. So it's actually a lot more challenging than you thought. And I actually did work experience for a large advertising agency back in the day. And I think that really cemented the fact that I didn't want to work in a big company like that. So I, after high school, started working in smaller boutique agencies and kind of really found my foot there working on more boutique kind of brands as well. But it wasn't until the opportunity at Crown, being a corporate company, came about that I thought, why not? And corporate's pretty great. Well, corporate in a Crown sense where it's a family-owned kind of business, we're private, not, I guess, a publicly listed company where you've got a lot of divisional heads and a lot of kind of systems in place, but
Yeah.
Yeah, it's been fantastic ever since.
Okay. So it sounds like you've always known that you were going to be a career woman. What about being a mum? Did you always know that you were going to be a mum?
Kids definitely were always going to be something that I wanted.
Mm.
Um, Again, probably my younger self said, "Oh yeah, 26 is a great age to have kids." Ugh, definitely wasn't on the cards at 26 for me. I'm 33 now. So absolutely wanted to have kids, just had again a different idea on when they were going to happen and how they were going to happen.
Yep.
Definitely didn't think I wouldn't be married as such and have kids. Not that that's
Mm.
a thing, but again, traditionally, I thought
Mm.
there's certain steps. You get the house,
Yep.
you get the marriage, you get the kids, or vice
Yep.
versa. Yeah, no,
Yeah.
all out the
And
window.
throw in a COVID in there and everything
Yeah,
goes to pieces.
exactly. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So you mentioned they when you were talking about kids. I assume that you have more than one in mind. Have you had that discussion yet?
Um, Definitely want 2 kids at
Mm.
least. Would love lots of kids, but unfortunately, Sydney is just ridiculously priced when it comes to having
Mm.
a family.
Mm.
Um, Again, I mentioned Lee wasn't 100% on having kids at this point in time, and then one was definitely something that he was keen to have. It's
Mm.
only been recently where he's very keen
Open
to have
to
another
more.
kid.
Mm.
Funnily, I thought because we didn't know the gender of our baby, I thought, oh, a girl, he probably wants a boy, blah 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 blah. The guy is a girl dad through and through.
Oh,
So if we have a
cute.
girl, two
Yeah.
girls, I reckon that guy is going to be very happy.
Yeah. 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 And so will you by the sound of it.
Yay! Oh, I
Yeah.
don't care. But siblings 100%. My relationship with my brother and sisters, they're my best friends, and
Yeah.
I actually work with my sister, and
Mm.
and we're all close by. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
very very close kind of relationship.
Okay, perfect. And so what is life for you right now? So you mentioned that you're working 1 day a week, but like on an average day, can you describe what it's like?
So on an average day, Zinzi wakes up early, loves an early rise. So we're
What
just like
time?
she's around the 5:30 mark. 6 a.m.
Ah,
is our wake up time, but she's
yeah.
got this obsession with, and poor thing's probably starving. She wakes up at 4 a.m. to have a feed.
Yeah.
So she has her feed, but then she goes back to sleep, and then she'll wake up her 5:36 a.m. time. To be
Mm.
honest, though, it does work for us because either my partner will go to the gym or I'll go to the gym. So we kind of alternate
Mm.
our days, and we go for a big walk if I'm not going to gym. So that works. And then by 8 a.m., she's usually asleep again.
Mm.
But again, routines, I thrive on routine and particularly wanted that for Zinzi. And at the start, found it worked well. Recently, I think when you start throwing in solids and different feeds and the fact that they need more activity and more awake times, I couldn't pinpoint a whole day. And you would know this through and through by me going, hey, can we just change the time on this? And blah, blah, blah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
You just got to be agile when it
Go
comes to
with
that.
it. Yeah.
But
Mm.
always a fresh walk in the morning because it means mum gets her double shot espresso. And I love walking. It's great for her. Then
Mm.
potentially do a couple of hours of work in between while she sleeps. Then we try and do activities, as many activities as possible, because again, I think, social, getting out and about keeps me sane, but it also is great for her. So you've got
Mm.
things, mothers group, which the hospitals connect you with, which is fantastic. And
Mm.
any mum that's, thinking about not or a bit daunted by the idea, mothers groups are unreal.
Hey,
You
it's a
don't have to be
lifesaver.
you
Yeah.
don't have to be best friends with everyone, but I think it forces you to get out and meet and talk and just have a coffee.
Yeah.
Also understand what your baby milestones are and where you're up
Yeah.
to. So definitely great. We have other activities like swimming lessons. So cute. I'm more traumatized than Zinzi is. But yeah, so things like that. Even just going to your local Westfield. One of my best friends, one of the nicest, and actually smartest ideas is, as soon as Zinzi was born, she took me to Westfield. Firstly, to get me comfortable with driving with the baby in the car. I'm a shit house driver, so that was a problem. But like getting used to using a capsule or putting in the pram. But then going to the Westfield and kind of understanding where the parent rooms were and how to navigate a lift and things like that with the pram. And I don't know, just getting comfortable, especially if the baby decides to, you know, do a punami and you're in a shopping center, just feeling. And I really encourage, like, again, new mums or friends to do that, because for some reason it just, again, makes you feel calm knowing that you've done it before, and then you can keep doing it on your own. So things like that. Again, so much washing. I feel like I wash and just general house admin. But I keep our days busy to keep me busy, but it goes really quickly as well. So by the time it's, you know, 4 p.m., you're starting to do wind down time and bath and all the rest of it, and then it's done. Yeah.
How many times does she wake up at night?
At night, at the moment, hopefully she sleeps through the night most nights, but I have just found in the last week she's doing the 4 a.m. random
regression.
We did go through what they call the regression when she was around the 4 months, and I think that went for honestly about 2 to 3 weeks. It's hell. Every baby's
I remember that time.
Oh no, that's hard, and that's why I have most appreciation for women who are doing this and working, because going on that Monday when I've gotten up every 2 to 3 hours, boy, that was not fun.
At least it's over, so that's good, right? Until the next one.
And I'm pretty sure the next one's like at 6 months. It's not a walk in the park that long. And
every time they teeth, it comes out as well. So
I think she's eating. She's drooling and eating everything, and just
Okay. All right. So you mentioned the morning walk is one thing that is working for you. Anything else? Any specific things that you find are helpful to make it through the day?
Dummies. I was so against, again, everything that you say you're going to do, just realize that you might completely backflip. Screens, I'm sorry, but YouTube has so many great nursery rhyme educational videos. It's just hard not to use them. But dummies, dummy for me, we go through what they call witching hour. You know,
the
around
6 o'clock, 5 to 6 o'clock time.
Yeah.
Everyone's tired. Everyone's cranky.
We do a bath time at 5 because Zinzi goes to bed at 6. So that 4 o'clock to 5 o'clock time, you're just basically trying to get by. So you're doing everything. But I do find dummies are fantastic.
Have you found your normal dynamic back with Lee? How has parenthood changed your dynamic, your relationship dynamic?
So you don't really have time for yourself, let alone with your partner. To be fair though, when Zinzi goes to sleep at 6, you know, that's your time. During the week, I'm either too tired to kind of do much other than watch a TV show and kind of have dinner together. And also Lee works back a couple of days during the week, which we schedule. So we know he's late, which means I'll do bath and feed by myself. That's what works for us. Weekends are crucial for us. Friday, Saturday, and Sundays is family time, but it also, I don't know, we enjoy hanging out with Zinzi. Obviously, we don't let it dictate ourselves. Last weekend, we went to an engagement party, so she was babysat and so forth, and that all works fine. Look, in terms of date nights, things like that, we haven't gotten to that point where we do it frequent enough. And
she's still so small.
But to be fair, we didn't really do that also before she came. Sure, we could walk down the road and have a nice dinner at a restaurant, but in terms of organizing date nights and doing that, we didn't really. for us, we get more joy out of renting a video, ordering takeaway, and snuggling on the couch kind of vibe. That really is exciting for us. But Lee always said something to me that really resonated, is that we got to a point in our lives where we'd done quite a lot and we were happy with how we've done so many amazing things. But with Zinzi, it was doing firsts all over again. So her first laugh, her first taste of food, her first walk, and that's an experience for us. So we get to experience all of that over again, and we get to do things, and I guess that's what we look forward to, and that's what we do on our weekends, really.
Yeah. Sounds good.
Yeah.
If you could give your younger self one advice, what would it be?
Do as much as possible. Honestly,
okay.
if COVID wasn't a thing for us, I wish I traveled more. I wish I traveled more. Say yes to things. Just do it, because chances are, yes, you'll move into something like having a family or a career. You just don't have the time to do it. Another thing I would tell myself, don't absorb yourself in social media. Social media, and just even having an iPhone. I was that person that had a Nokia for way too long. And eventually I caved and got an iPhone, and I am the most addicted person to my phone. I find myself honestly grabbing it for no reason. And social media is great. It's fantastic. It's this platform has helped the world, but it's also kind of been detrimental in that, especially being a new mum, especially being someone who works, and driven by a career. Imposter syndrome is just
so real and loud.
Exactly. So luckily my younger self didn't know what that was to come, but would have avoided that if I had known.
Okay.
And property. Invest.
Yeah. Okay. And lastly, what's your alpha mom song? So when you have deadlines looming at work and Zinzi is sick and you don't feel well yourself, what song do you play in your mental mind to make it through the week?
Oh, this is a tough question, because there's so many great songs out there, but unfortunately a lot of the songs that I love are a little bit obscure. So I feel like they probably won't resonate with any of your viewers. But I think it has to be hectic, like dancey.
Yeah.
You've got to plug yourself in.
Yeah.
I tell the guys, when I've got a big brief to design, I go, don't talk to me, because I've got my AirPods in and it's game on. It's boom, 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 boom. With Zinzi, there's like wiggles and stuff like that. There's no alpha mum song there. It's whatever she wants. But no, definitely gotta get you happy, gotta get you smiling and just thinking life is great. I can do this.
Yeah. Awesome. All right. So for the young mums out there who are listening to us, is there any one last key takeaway that you'd like to share with them?
Just go with it. And honestly, you want to be as rigid as possible, and that's okay, but you need to understand that your baby is going to lead that way, and just to enjoy it, because before you know it, and everyone says it, time goes so damn quick, and it really does. And you need to be able to enjoy it, and enjoy it for what it is. Laugh at it, mess it up, do it over again, think that you've done a great job. Like, honestly, just enjoy it.
Yeah. And it's totally okay not to have it right every single time, right?
Absolutely. And don't think you're going to get it right either. Because if everyone got it right, there'd be a book telling you how to get it right now. And every book will tell you a completely different idea. Every midwife, every friend or family will tell you something different. And it's kind of taking, I guess, that info and picking out the nuggets and then trying it with your baby. But
which works for you.
Yeah, they might spit it up. But it's a challenge, and props to any mum. They're just amazing at what they do, and we definitely need Mother's Day times 10 every single month, I reckon. But anyway. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you so much for making the time. I
you.
appreciate, the current golden time that whenever the baby naps, that's the golden
Yeah.
time. So very appreciate you sharing this golden
No,
time
thank
with us.
you. Oh, it was
Yeah, and
so
all the
nice.
best.
Yeah, all the best, Jane. Thank you so much again.
Thanks, Chief.
Bye.
Bye. Thank you so much for listening to Breadwinning Mums. Please subscribe and leave us some feedback so we can continue to make the show better for you. If you know a fellow breadwinning mum, please share the show so we can cheer each other on. Until next time.